You guys, thank you if you're here from the beginning of when I started Succession reviews, because they're not very good videos. They're badly edited, but it's Succession time. It's finally Succession time. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Welcome. I'm Abby with Motor City Nerds. Succession, final season. I'm really sad about that. And already this is going to be melancholy for me. If you're new here, I did a Logan video and I talk about it all the time in my reviews. My uncle who raised me, who abruptly passed last year, which also ties into why this is tardy, because if you're around, you know about Ford and the UAW and what they did to me. And for some reason, every time I'm all geeked for something, like super geeked, like Succession, then they decide to rear their ugly head again. And I'm just like, can you please stop? Just stop hurting me, please. My job got rid of me while I was burying my uncle, and I'm like, this is insane, and this is so toxic and bad. But everything about Logan, besides his toxicity, reminds me very much of my uncle, and so it's I love watching it, but at the same time, it's a little hard. Especially when you know that I love this character and that we see him so alone this season. And I'll say this, normally I can kind of guess where something's going to go, you know, but I don't know which way this is going to go. First I thought he's going to go out like, or he's going to act like he's on everybody on the company side, and then he's going to flip-flop and in the end turn and give it all to and help his kids out and let them win in the end. But then we get like halfway through the episode and I'm just like, no, I think Logan might be planning on going out like a pharaoh. Like, nope, I'm going to take my wealth and everything with me when I die. And now I'm kind of worried he might die this season. And I'm like, oh no, but it would make sense. I also really appreciated it opening identical to season 1 with his birthday. But all he wanted on his birthday was to go play a game of baseball and have it be basic with his family. And in this, we see him sad and alone and missing them, but in their jacked up Roy family way. He misses his kids in their weird way, and Logan misses them, and he feels alone, and Greg shows up, just like how he showed up in season 1, and we'll get to the rat Fink he's with, because I don't believe that she's as dumb as she's portraying. We really see, throughout this episode, money can't buy you everything, and I kind of needed that message, especially, I lost my job of 10 years in January. It's like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I realized something. When you've worked in a factory for 12 hours a night, almost every night since you were 19, you miss a lot of stuff. And even just in the past couple months, like I was panicking, I was depressed. I didn't want to do the channel. Like I didn't want to do nothing. And then now I'm just like, I see my nephews and I see my family and I get to see my mom and talk to her for more than 5 minutes. And I can do this with you guys. And it's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to figure everything out. But I can have a life with people and I can see my friends. And I realized that a few weeks ago, I was like, I've never had a St. Patrick's Day off. Like, over 21, I've never had that. Just, he wants something basic that he can't buy. He wants his family there, and he wants to not feel alone. But he keeps insulting them and things like that, and we see that with all these characters. When Shiv, all of them, when they get emotional, they'd rather be angry and attack or make fun or make a joke out of it, but it's normally anger, and they flip-flop, but really it's, I'm hurt. We see all the characters doing that. They don't know how to react correctly like normal human beings. Their emotions are jacked up. I talked about this a lot. If you were over here for my Succession reviews before, this is very much about generational abuse. This is very much about trauma and who breaks the cycle of abuse and can you and things like that. But I really did like that. It's starting out with his birthday again. Marsha's not there. I don't know how I'm feeling about this assistant yet. In the beginning of the episode, Logan's alone, but by the end, I feel like all the kids feel like they're alone. And what have I always said? Naomi Pierce is a rat. Naomi Pierce is a spying, sneak, dirty rat. And so Tom calls Shiv, and he tells her, oh, if you hear this kerfuffle about me and Naomi Pierce. Now, I think part of that was just to hurt. Part of it was just to hurt her. The other part of it was Logan telling him to do it. And then the other part was the actual deal part of it, like the actual reason. I don't think anything was actually going on. And I really liked that I'm acting like a 15-year-old behavior. It's fun. It's funny when it's on TV. It's not funny in person, and adults act like that, but it was funny for TV. And I do think part of it was to tip Shiv off. I do think part of it was to tip her off a little bit, because Tom does care about her. Tom loves her. Tom is the character, because my mom never knows how to feel about Tom, and I was like, Tom's the kid who hangs out with the bullies, who you know is cool when the bullies aren't around, but then when they are around, you're like, man, you're going to act like a dick too, aren't you? I think Cousin Greg dropped the ball. I was saying Cousin Greg might win it all in the end, and he still might, but he really dropped the ball here. Shiv runs and tells him Tom was with Naomi Pierce. She's all pissy. That pisses Kendall off because he was seeing her, and he's like, what? And then that's when they put it all together that, oh, Dad's still trying to buy their network. Let's piss him off and let's buy it before him. I thought it was really cool to have one group on the West Coast, one group on the East Coast. We are as far apart country-wise as we can be. Split down the middle, 1v1. Okay, I like that. I thought that was cool. what the funniest part, because I'm the baby, and I think this show does a really good job of showing, like, Roman is the baby for sure. Like, I identify with Roman the most, just like when it comes to the parent thing. And off rip, I was like, Roman's gonna fold. He's gonna text his dad because we're always the snitch. Never trust the baby. We're gonna snitch you out. We're gonna snitch on you. We're gonna be on mom and dad's side. My dad passed away when I was younger. My mom's my best friend. So if you hear me just referring to mom, that's why. But yeah, no, mom's my bestie. I'm secretly the favorite. She doesn't say that, but I mean, come on now. Let's be real. Kidding around. Well, I felt like Scar a little bit when my nephew was born, but it's freaking true. I'm like, you little mom stealer, because now she's granny. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I was first in line until the little hairball was born, but I love him. Oh, but I was like, no, Roman's gonna fold. Roman's gonna fold. Roman's gonna call his dad. Roman's not gonna be able to not do that. I know the baby, and that would be me. I'd be in the corner like, happy birthday. This episode did a real good job of showing how each one of the Roys do not handle things well. Oh, Willa running shit. I love seeing Willa run shit. I love seeing her accept her role, because if you notice, even with Tom, Rava, you can't get away from this family. You don't get, like, divorced and can go. You are, like, owned by them, essentially, now. Even if you are divorced or separated, you're stuck with them. So I love Willa, and you can tell that Willa's really sad and, like, broken by that in the other season when she's like, oh my god, like, what did I get into? I can never leave this now type deal. And it's like, you kind of got the best one when it comes to being nice, I guess. They're still all crazy, but I think Willow really accepts that. And I was saying that what if he really did win some type of office? She would be the one who would actually have to come up with stuff, and I think that's an interesting take because she's a call girl and people think a certain way about sex workers. I'm on OF, Abby Anarchy, you can go check that out. I'm not allowed to promote it on here. But yeah, no, people think a certain way when you say you're on something like that, or a call girl, or a sex worker, or you do adult films. People look at you and think you're a certain kind of way, and it's like, Willow's a smart, human, good person, you know? And I really like that. So I was like, if he wins an office, she'd really be the brains of the operation, and the irony in that is kind of awesome. But just seeing her now even in social situations take over and is like, do you want to know what? I know I'm stuck with this guy. I might as well play the role that I have to play and step up to the plate for the both of us because he's a moron. Love that. I really did love that a whole lot. I liked that a lot. Just because Willa's like a counted out character, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's not a Jerry, she's not a Marsha, she's not Shiv. They all kind of hate on her. She's pretty normal, and so I'm like, I was always rooting for her, but now seeing her do this, I'm like, no, good for you. But remember, even back at Mo Lester's funeral, she's the one who writes his speech so he don't look stupid and act a fool and give information, and then turns and looks at the author of Logan's biography, and the lady's like, you got me. And people underestimate her. I think we all have a soft spot for Willa. Oh, Greg brings that girl to the party. I think she's playing dumber than she is. I don't think they really, like, fully hooked up. And I don't think Logan watches, because my mom said that. My mom was like, do you think Logan... And I was like, no, I don't think he watches, but I think he has people watching his whole empire all the time. Yeah, I do. And I guarantee you he knows if somebody's sneaking off in a room or not. But I think that girl is playing dumber than she is. But when they said that she tried to take a selfie with Logan, and then they were like, you did what? I thought that was so funny. And they're calling themselves the Disgusting Brothers. Oh my god, it's so stupid and childish and funny for some reason, and that's the great part about Succession. So this whole episode is Logan's birthday party and the kids going to talk to Nan Pierce, who is kind of the worst. I kind of hate that entire family. They're just kind of, just say what you feel. Roy's will just say something horrible even if you don't like it, and they are like, and I can't stand that. And I'm just like, man, I want to strangle all of you, but I'm sure they want us to feel that way about them, but especially Naomi, man, what a rat. And I knew you were a rat fink from the very beginning. Shiv is finally saying that she's upset about Tom. Kendall's upset about Naomi. They get to the Pierce house. Naomi's the worst. Nan's saying she don't want to have a headache and, like, avoiding them. So now it's a bidding war between the kids and Logan. And then this is where it got interesting. Hey guys, sorry. I had to get ready for bed and some stuff came up. But, so yeah, this is where it starts to get real interesting. Logan's pissed. Like I was saying, the Roys do not know how to express emotion correctly. So now he's full-blown Logan Roy. I think this is his freeze-up final form. Like, it's going down. Oh my god, can we talk about Connor bringing up bum fights? And Willa's like, I just want to have a nice wedding, but I laugh so hard at bum fights because if you're a part of my generation, it's not funny. It's horrible. But yeah, no, that was a totally poppin' thing. And so when she was like, bum fights, and it's like, no, it's horrible. But if you remember bum fights, that was some messed up stuff. And we were watching that at like, what? Middle school age? Mom's yelling at Hobart because True Green's coming to do the grass. Hobie! I got you! Also, this is my uncle who passed away's robe. But anyway, bum fights. Oh yeah, I don't trust Carrie at all. Skimming through it, no, I don't trust Carrie at all. And I don't trust Carl at all. I don't trust Frank. I never have. Logan sneaks out of his party. He goes out to eat at a regular place with Colin, and it's super sad. And he feels alone. He's like, you're my pal, you're my friend. And the way he's responding is so cold. Logan realizes, like, nothing's the same. Food's not the same. He realizes he's getting older. And all he wants is his kids there. That's all he wants. And like I said, this is something you can't pay for. But Logan does say some really existential things here where he's like, do you think there's an afterlife? And I think he's scared. Like, maybe there is, because he does talk about being Catholic quite often. He even asked if there was going to be a cardinal at his party. I think he wanted to talk to him about that, and that's part of why he brought it up. And I think after the way Colin was responding, Logan appreciates it, of course, but he realizes, like, I don't even have a friend left. Like, a real friend. Which maybe I'm wrong about Cousin Greg winning, and maybe Brother Ewing is going to roll back into the picture and be like, yeah, me and him are tag teaming a takeover or something, because, yeah, Cousin Greg's screwing up a bit, but Logan did think it was funny. He even starts talking at the dinner, like, what they cover on ATN and how, he doesn't say it bothers him, but you can tell he's like, maybe I'm the worst. Maybe I'm the absolute worst. I swear to God. Let's put it this way. If I think the kids would have called him at that dinner, this entire season, none of the conflicts would be going on, because that's all he wanted in that moment. He's bringing up the afterlife. He's bringing up how money can't buy you everything, how everything eventually changes. And what do you have left at the end? Family. Or sometimes family isn't blood, but I'm just saying, like, there are some things money can't buy. There's a couple little things that Logan does at that dinner that, especially when he finds out about the Pierce bid war, or that somebody's bidding and he realizes it's the kids. But either way, I was like, oh no, he's going to go out like a pharaoh. And especially when we get to the end and everybody's going, like, they're looking around like, we don't even know Logan's ceiling, like how much he really has. And I'm like, are you going to spend it all to buy the brother you have beef with's favorite news channel, stick it to Nan, who you hate, stick it to your kids, and we're going to end up finding out it's like $1 billion gazillion dollars or something, and he's going to blow it all on this deal, and he's going to take everything, leave it to somebody else, and die like a pharaoh with all of his wealth with him. And there's just a couple little things he says and does towards the end of the dinner that I'm like, oh my God, that might be the way. When 30 seconds ago I thought it was going to be him at first being pissed, of course, because their emotions are not conducted through correctly. Logan acting like he was all for the company, and then flipping it back and giving it to his kids in the end, and bringing them into the fold and telling all of them, Jerry, Carl, all of them, to kick rocks. Normally I can be like, oh, here, but I'm like, I really don't know which way they're going to go with this. There's 3 ways I think it's going to go, but it might subvert all of those expectations. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm so excited for it to be back. But if you notice that, like, Carrie, Frank, all of them are way too chumming it up together. And that's what made me think, oh, Logan will do this. But then I'm like, no, maybe he'll go out like a pharaoh and nobody will get nothing. Before Logan enters back into his party and throws everybody out to have the bidding meeting, we have Tom and Greg talking, and Tom making fun of Greg and all his faux pas at this fancy rich people get together. They're making fun of him. Like I said, I almost fell out when they said, when she told them I tried to take a selfie with him, they were like, you what? But before the bidding meeting, Colin throws her the hell out. But I don't think it was, I think she brought that bag on purpose, not only to blend in, well, not blend in, but look like something she's not, which is a Pierce and a sneaky rat. I think there might have been some type of recording equipment or something to plant there. There was something in that bag, I think. Because if you're from the Pierce family, you should know better. And that's also why I'm like, you're not as dumb. And Nan Pierce gives me mad Olenna Tyrell from the book vibes. The reason she reminds me of Olenna Tyrell is because in the books, Nan seems very smart not to say numbers and not to have... She never really says something. Other people say it for her. But... she's always smart. She always has a group around her. You son of a bitch. And Olenna Tyrell, who, I hate the Tyrells. I like Olenna, but I hate the Tyrells. And I hate Marjorie Tyrell. I don't care what anybody has to say from Game of Thrones. But the Queen of Thorns, she in the books especially, always has large groups of girls and women around Marjorie, and that way to the people it looks like Marjorie could do no wrong. She's always hanging out with her girls, and then that way there's always people around her to hear or see or know what's going on, or if anybody's plotting or scheming or whatever it is. That way Marjorie can keep up her facade of, oh look, she's so great, and oh look, she's getting back to the small folk, she's always hanging out with her girls, and she's so virtuous, and all that BS. They're playing the game, they know. So I think Nan has some Olenna Tyrell qualities, just not as cool at all in any way, shape, or form. What I'm saying is she's smart. Bidding is going on. They're in New York. They're on the West Coast. Greg tells Logan he needs to talk to him, and he's like, go stand in the corner. But this is what I mean about Cousin Greg. He screws up, but he's always honest with his family, and he never truly betrays them or means to. So that goes a long way with Logan. So Greg comes clean to him. Logan doesn't really get that mad at him. We don't see that, but I like the way when Greg and Tom were talking, and that was funny. I liked, the only thing that I think Logan wouldn't like about Greg, and it might show more, is that he was too much of a coward to even go with Colin to tell his date to go home. You know, like, you can at least just be like, hey, he's taking you home, bye. That was a coward move. But then again, I think she's a dirty snake rat. Roy kids are finally getting to talk with Nan and with Naomi and some other scumbags around, and that's why I'm like, if you look in the background, there's quite a few people, and it's always a family thing, and it's because I think she wants, like, witnesses, and then she never really says anything, yada, yada, yada. That's why she reminds me of more of the book Olenna Tyrell. But the kids and her are debating. She's like, nope, I'm already doing this deal with somebody else, and my word is my bond, BS, all that crap. And then the kids come with a higher number, and I did like them having them throwing out the word billion like it was nothing to them, and it's just like, wow. That's so gross. That's so gross. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's the part of the show that it's like, we're not supposed to like that, but it reminds us, don't feel too bad for these people. Yeah, no, Nan and her family acting all types of pretentious of like, oh, I'm not, whatever. But yeah. Honestly, I would like them to do something that shows like Pierce is actually a doing sneak stuff, and have them get like arrested later in the season. I think that'd be kind of cool, but I doubt that would happen. That just popped into my head. But while the kids and Nan are debating, she's like, you're married to the head of ATN. Shiv's like, I'm getting divorced. Are they? We cut back over to New York, and that's when Logan is like, this is what I mean about the emotion stuff, not being correct. Instead of just being like, I'm upset my kids didn't come, or I'm sad, it comes out in anger and frustration, and he misses them, and the way they can riff with each other and be comfortable. So when he's like, roast me, roast me, roast me, it was, one, I thought it was funny, because all these super funny people are obviously trying not to be funny, and they are being funny in doing that. But when Greg's like, why aren't your kids here? Logan goes past regular Roy, I don't know how to act, and is genuinely pissed. And then when he's like, where's your dad at? I was like, oh, snap. It's another way to show I miss Roman and Kendall and Connor and Shiv to riff with. I miss them. Remember that scene in Harry Potter when Hermione's like, I'm not an owl, when they're beefing, and she's like, tell him this, and tell Harry this, tell Ron that, and she's like, stop making me do that. Naomi was the owl for Nan, and Tom was the owl for Logan. But after Logan finds out that Nan's not going with his deal, and he says, just call your wife, Tom, and he has that little giggle, that's the real nail in the coffin for me right now, with my top idea of what's going to happen, of him going, oh yeah, because right before that we hear Tom say, we don't, ceiling, like nobody in the room knows how much money Logan has, and I'm like, oh my god, they might have pissed him off so bad that he will sell every last thing he has. He will do anything he has to just to get this, just to prove a point to them, and have them end up with no one. Well, they would be fine. All of these people would be fine, but I'm just saying, like, no company that was left to you, no nothing. I think that might be like the irony of it getting called Succession, where really he's going to burn it to the ground so nobody can have it. He would rather be king of the ashes than see anybody else rule. Oh my god, when Roman said we could be spending this money on snowmobiles and sushi, I was like, another thing the youngest would say. We would be the first ones to be like, can we just stop and get along with mom or dad and just like go do fun stuff? In the beginning of the episode, we have Logan alone at his party. First, we have Logan alone in the beginning of the episode, and then at the end, it seems like Kendall wants to hang out with everybody, and we don't know where he goes. Roman states several times he just wants to go home and go lay in his bed and be alone. And then Shiv goes to her place in New York when she was supposed to be at the hotel because they have like a schedule. And Tom's there and he's like, oh, you couldn't just live in your favorites? Like, if I could take like 2 garbage bags full of my favorites, I think I'd be okay for a minute, you know? So I think she had ulterior motives going there where she doesn't want to tell Tom because of her jacked up Roy upbringing. So I think maybe she didn't need clothes, but I don't think she did. I think that she just wanted to go there while Tom was there and see how that would go. And I realized this with Roman, with Logan even with, and that's why I think it's so funny that they make fun of thinking he's banging everybody, every assistant. I don't think he is. They have these issues with, it's not sexual issues, it's, well, they are, but they're intimacy issues. The way they are intimate is different for each of them, but Shiv specifically, having sex with people doesn't mean nothing to her. It's just funsies. Intimacy, and I think she's realizing that's what she had with Tom, is something that she struggles with. That's something that she can't do. That's what scares her. It's the intimacy part she can't do, and that's why she's like, you can just sit here though. And honestly, that was so sad to me. It was so sad, and I felt so bad for them. But then I'm like, no, Shiv, you were an ass. And when people were saying Tom was a creep last season, I was like, no, Tom just wants unconditional love, and he knows he can't get away from this family. You know what I mean? Like, that's so sad. Even before she lays down in the bed, you can see that she's really struggling with, like, can we just walk away with our heads held high? Like, let's just block it off. It's like, that's not what you should do. That's not healthy at all. Once again, messed up Roy stuff. The reason I bring up her having sex before is because it's like she didn't want to have sex with Tom this time, and he offered it. And that's why I'm like, no, she wanted the intimacy, which to her is not sex. It is just be here with me. And like I said, I think she's starting to realize a lot, but still, it's like, you screwed up, and I feel bad for Tom. I don't know if they'll actually divorce. At the end of the episode, we cut to Logan watching ATN, and remember back at the restaurant when he was saying, are we airing the right stuff, and am I going to hell for this? And now he's watching it at night, and he's essentially calling Sid, the lady who runs ATN, and is like, no, I need you to beef everything up hardcore, turn up the dial, let's get nuts with it. And before, he was questioning if that was the right thing to do, but now that he's so pissed, he's like, let's go. And that's what I mean. We didn't see Logan in the beginning in his prime, but we haven't seen Logan go full beast mode. I don't think anybody ever has, and I think this is going to be his big one to go, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. But I did think Cousin Greg screwed up a little bit, but I'd be interested to see, because I do think, and I do want his grandpa to come into play. But yeah, you guys, Succession is back. I'm sorry that I'm so tired. I'm sorry that everything kept getting screwed up. But it's Succession season, and we're excited, and let's go. Let's do it. I got tons of new stuff up. I'm on OnlyF. I'm on TikTok. I'm on all this stuff. It's down below. I'm going to vlog Hash Bash this weekend. That should be fun. And then I have a podcast coming soon, and I'll keep you guys updated. And yeah, let me know what you want to happen in Succession. I want Marcia to show up and just tell this Carrie to fuck off. That's what I want. And thank you so much to the people that have been here forever. That is awesome. And Mike, I emailed you.